Imagine a world where every desire is met the moment it arises. You're hungry, there's food. Lonely, instant connection. Bored, entertainment, endless and on demand. No delay, no discomfort, no longing. At first, it feels like paradise, but over time, something strange begins to happen. Laughter feels thinner, pleasure fades faster. You start reaching for more, but not out of joy, out of habit. Every moment becomes a transaction, every emotion, a fleeting glitch. And then the question creeps in. Why do I feel emptier now, with everything, than I did when I had nothing? What if the more we chase happiness, the further we drift from it? This isn't just a modern dilemma, it's a timeless one. And today, we're diving deep into a philosopher who saw this coming over 2,000 years ago. His name was Epicurus. And while his name is often tied to indulgence and luxury, his true message was the opposite. Epicurus believed that the pursuit of pleasure, if misunderstood, could become a form of quiet despair. He warned that confusing comfort with fulfillment would lead us into a trap, always wanting, never satisfied. In this video, we'll explore the subtle ways your search for happiness might be turning into a source of suffering. We'll look at the psychology behind modern desire, the ancient wisdom that still whispers truths in the noise, and how understanding Epicurus might shift the way you live forever. But first, who was this man who dared to redefine what it means to live well? Epicurus was born in 341 BCE on the island of Samos. Not a conqueror, not a politician, just a thinker who built a small garden outside Athens, where people gathered not to feast, but to question everything. He taught that true happiness wasn't found in wealth, fame, or even sensual pleasure, but in tranquility, the deep, undisturbed peace that comes from wanting less. He wrote, "If you wish to be rich, do not add to your money, but subtract from your desires." His life was simple, his meals were modest, and yet, his teachings offered a radical freedom. The idea that suffering often comes not from what we lack, but from what we crave. This isn't a rejection of joy, it's a redefinition of it. So, if Epicurus was right, what does that say about the world we've built and the way we live now? Let's step into it. And now, here we are, a world where every craving has a button. Hungry? Tap. Bored? Scroll. Lonely? Swipe. Want something you didn't know you wanted 5 seconds ago? The algorithm already knew. We've created a civilization designed to deliver desire faster than ever before. But has it delivered happiness? We sleep next to glowing rectangles, wake up to the ping of invisible demands, and fill the silent spaces with noise because they've become too heavy to bear. We chase followers instead of friends, progress instead of peace. Even rest becomes a performance, tracked by our smartwatches, judged by productivity. Is it any wonder that we feel restless, even when we're still? We were promised freedom. But what if we've only traded our chains for velvet ones, soft, beautiful, and just as binding? Modern neuroscience offers a chilling parallel to what Epicurus knew intuitively. At the center of it all is dopamine, a chemical messenger tied to motivation and reward. It's not the pleasure chemical, as many say. It's the craving chemical. It doesn't signal satisfaction, it signals pursuit. Each hit, whether from a like, a notification, a sale, or a sip, is a whisper. More, more, more. And here's the catch. The more dopamine we chase, the less sensitive we become to it. This is the hedonic treadmill, where pleasure loses its edge, and we have to run faster just to feel the same spark we used to get standing still. It's not your fault. This system wasn't built for your peace. It was built for your engagement, for your attention, for your endless, aching want. The more you consume, the more the world rewards you. But the more you want, the less alive you feel. What kind of reward is that? So pause for a moment and ask yourself, quietly, honestly, when was the last time you felt truly content? Not distracted, not entertained, not temporarily relieved, but whole, still, at peace with nothing more than your own breath. When did silence stop feeling safe? When did enough become too little? And if this spiral of wanting has become so normal, then what does it cost us just to feel okay? We were not built for endless pursuit. We were built to arrive, but we've forgotten how. Epicurus wasn't alone. Across time and continents, other voices joined this quiet rebellion against restless desire. Buddha, centuries before, or perhaps alongside Epicurus, spoke of tanha, craving, as the root of suffering. To want is human, yes, but to cling, to attach, to endlessly grasp, that is what breaks us from the inside. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the unspeakable horrors of a concentration camp, wrote, "When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure." And isn't that what we often do? Reach for stimulation not because it fills us, but because silence terrifies us. Blaise Pascal, a mathematician and mystic, once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." 3 men, 3 centuries, 3 corners of the world, all whispering the same truth. You will not outrun your emptiness by feeding it. And when we try, we begin to hollow. Rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness are soaring, especially in societies where abundance should mean joy. A study from Harvard found that despite rising wealth, people are less happy now than they were decades ago. Gen Z, the most digitally connected generation in history, also reports the highest levels of isolation. We burn out chasing lifestyles we don't even want, perform happiness for screens we secretly resent, and numb ourselves with dopamine drips until we forget what feeling truly feels like. We see it in rising addictions, not just to substances, but to approval, to productivity, to screens. We see it in relationships, where presence is replaced by distraction, in communities, where shared purpose fades and individualism reigns. We are full and starving. So where do we begin? Not with action, not yet. First, with awareness. What if the real revolution is learning to see your own cravings? To notice, gently, without judgment, when your hand reaches for your phone without reason. When your silence makes you squirm. When treating yourself feels more like a compulsion than care. What if happiness has always been closer than we thought? Not something to achieve, but something to remember. Can you remember? The feeling of enoughness, of being whole without needing more, of a moment unmeasured, unoptimized, simply lived. That remembering begins with a single powerful shift, looking within. But what if there's another way? A life not driven by craving, but by clarity. Not stretched thin across 1,000 desires, but rooted, steady, and enough. Imagine waking up and not needing to reach for anything. Not your phone, not your feed. Just breathe, just light. Just the quiet confidence that this moment right here is whole. Freedom, in this vision, is not the ability to have more. It's the power to need less, to want what you already have, to sit with yourself in silence and not flinch, to taste food slowly, to listen fully, to live without always reaching. There is a kind of beauty in stillness, not the stillness of boredom, but the stillness of peace. This is not a fantasy. It is a muscle, and like any muscle, it begins with practice. So how do we begin? Start small. Start slow. 1. Schedule silence. Even just 5 minutes. No music, no scrolling. Just you and breath. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it teach you. 2. Question your cravings. Each time you reach for something, ask, what am I really seeking? Not to shame yourself, but to see yourself. 3. Practice presence over pleasure. Next time you eat, don't watch a show. Next time you walk, don't bring headphones. Let reality feel enough. 4. Reclaim one moment a day. One moment that is just for being, not for doing, not for proving, just for remembering what it's like to be alive. It's not about perfection, it's about direction, choosing again and again to return to yourself. And now, come back to the beginning. Imagine a world where every desire is met the moment it arises. We called it paradise. But what if paradise isn't the place where everything is given? What if it's the place where nothing is needed? Epicurus wasn't trying to take joy from your life. He was trying to give it back. Not the kind that flickers and fades, but the kind that stays, because it comes from within. So here's the quiet question this video leaves you with. What would your life look like if you stopped chasing happiness and started trusting peace?
If this stirred something in you, a memory, a question, a quiet truth, share it below. I read every comment. And if you'd like to keep exploring life's deeper currents, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. This is just the beginning. See you in the next video.